Hello and welcome to your Fantasy Premier League one-stop shop. I'm your host Stephen Gallagher, world number 3 in points totals over the past 3 seasons. Today we're looking at all the key points for Game Week 35, the new fixture schedule, chip strategies, my wildcard draft, players to buy, fixtures to target, and captaincy. If you're watching on YouTube and have been enjoying the videos, then consider subscribing. We're still aiming for 5,000 subscribers by the end of the season. Let's get straight into it, starting with the updated fixture schedule. Very quickly on this new schedule, there are now confirmed to be no remaining blanks or doubles. I've been following Ben Crellin's blank and double predictions all season, so it's only right to still show his table here, even though there aren't any changes to the schedule. This does obviously change things in terms of the transfers that we want to make, and also how we're using our remaining chips. So now I'm going to go through each chip and talk about the best time to use them. It will obviously depend on what chips you have left, which will then affect the transfers and the decisions that you make now. So I'm going to go in order of the most important chips to prioritize, starting with the assistant manager chip. If you still have your assistant manager chip left, then I think using it this week on Pep is the play. They play Wolves at home in 35, Southampton away in 36, and then you can keep it on Pep for Bournemouth at home in 37. But what I would want to do is swap it to a manager for table bonus, and I like the look of Potter against Forest at home or Hertzler against Liverpool at home. If you still have your wild card, then I would use it this week. There's only 4 weeks left and we know all the fixtures. You'll get the most out of this chip by using it now. This is what I would go for if I was wild carding this game week. Pickford and Sells in nets, who rotate really nicely. Gvardiol in defence with O'Brien and Mikolenko finishing off the Everton defensive triple up. Sessegnon and Nico Williams on the bench too, who also rotate really well into this team. In the midfield we've got De Bruyne, Mbeumo, Salah, Bowen and Elanga, and up front I've gone for Isak, Marmoush and Wissa. Overall, I really like the structure of this team, especially the midfield. I love the picks there and all the rotation that the bench offers. This team is really nice. Now, if you still have your bench boost, to figure out the best time to use it for your team, I would suggest going to fpl.team. It's a great website where you plug in your team and can check how it looks for the future game weeks. That way you can see which of the remaining game weeks your bench looks the best. If you still have your free hit left, I would do the exact same thing, except instead of looking for when your bench looks the best, look for the week which your team looks really bad, you don't have a lot of home fixtures, you're missing a lot of players that you want that game week, and then I would say use your free hit then. Finally, on the triple captain chip, this one is really tricky because there are so many options. I myself still have my triple captain chip left, which I'm pretty annoyed about, but I took the risk of holding on to the chip and here we are. These are the best options in my opinion. We've got one of the City boys in KDB or Marmoush in Game Week 36 against Southampton away, but we could also use it that game week on Mbeumo against Ipswich away or Wood against Leicester at home. And another option is to wait until 38 and use it on one of Saka against Southampton away, Bowen against Ipswich away, or even Kluivert against Leicester at home. But in my opinion, the best time to use it is on one of these Game Week 36 options because we never know what team a manager will put out on the last game of the season, depending on if the table is wrapped up by then or not. So to give you my preference, I'm currently looking at De Bruyne or Marmoush for Game Week 36 because Southampton are the worst defence and Man City are on a tear towards a Champions League spot. They have a lot to play for. The only concern is rotation in that City side, so I'll have to keep my eye on that. So that's a short summary of the chip strategies you can use. Obviously, it's extremely team dependent and also depends on what chips you have remaining, what combination of chips you can use. So if you still have questions on when to use your chips, especially if you have multiple chips remaining, then leave those questions in the comments below. And if I don't get back to you in time, then I'll be doing a deadline stream today, 1 hour before the deadline at 5:30 UK time, so tune in then. Next up is defenses to target using our fixture difficulty and defensive strength ratings until the end of the season, with the immediate fixtures given more importance than the later fixtures. First in the rankings are Everton. Their upcoming fixtures are really nice. However, with Tarkowski out for the rest of the season, their appeal is lessened slightly, but the fixtures are definitely still there to attack, and Jake O'Brien has been putting up the best attacking data from them, so he'd be the one that I'd go for. Second in the rankings are Man City. The fixtures are good, they're fighting for that Champions League spot, and their defensive data has improved massively. They rank 3rd for expected goals conceded over the past 10 game weeks after Liverpool and Arsenal. So if you're going for a City defender, then it's got to be Gvardiol. He's been playing centre back instead of that advanced left back role, which we like to see him in. So his attacking data isn't as good right now, but he's still the most attacking of all the City defenders. Third in the rankings are Nottingham Forest. Their fixtures are good, especially the Leicester game in 36 and the West Ham game in 37, but their defensive data hasn't actually been amazing recently. They actually rank 16th for expected goals conceded over the past 10 game weeks, but in terms of other defenses to go for, I still think with these fixtures and Nottingham Forest's defensive record over the course of the whole season, they're a solid pick for the remainder of the season. Nico Williams is the one to go for in terms of the budget options, and Milenkovic is another good pick with his attack and threat from set pieces. On to attacks to target. First in the rankings are Man City. As I said already, their fixtures are great. They're fighting for that Champions League spot. Erling Haaland is back in training, but Pep says he won't feature against Wolves, so I'd assume Marmoush and KDB are relatively safe from rotation, but once Haaland is back, things will change. I actually think it helps Marmoush, as we saw how well they played together, but it may put De Bruyne's spot in the team into question. Either way, I still think Marmoush is a good pick, and De Bruyne is a nice differential this game week. Third in the rankings are Brentford. These guys are on fire right now. 6 goals and 2 assists in 9 games for Wissa, 4 goals and 3 assists in 9 games for Mbumo. The form is there, the fixtures are there, with Man United at home, Ipswich away, Fulham at home, and then Wolves away. These are 2 great pickups for the remainder of the season, and the double up with both of these guys is definitely a viable option too. Fifth in the rankings is West Ham. They've got Spurs at home this week, Man United away in 36, Forest at home in 37, and then Ipswich away in 38. Really nice fixtures there. In the past 10 game weeks, those 4 teams rank 15th, 16th, 17th, and 20th for expected goals conceded. They make up 4 of the 6 worst defenses in the past 10 game weeks, and this man Bowen has been on form, 2 goals and 2 assists in the past 4 games. He's going to feast on these defenses. I think he is a great pick this game week. 6th in the rankings are Forest. The fixtures are good with Palace away this game week, then Leicester at home in 36 and West Ham away in 37. Chris Wood is back on the menu, and so is Elanga, although his minutes appear to be managed slightly. I think they're both ones to consider for the rest of the season. On to the stats review, where we analyse the best performing players in every position statistically and combine that with the fixture difficulty ratings. Players in red are the most expensive and in green are the cheapest. For goalkeepers, we're looking at expected goals conceded per 90 against the defensive fixture difficulty rating. We're really looking for players in the top right quadrant here, outlined by the dashed blue line. At the top of the plot we have Pickford, Ederson and Sells below him, and then it's a bit of a drop down to the other cluster of goalies. I think if I was buying a keeper this game week, it would be one of Pickford or Sells. On to defenders, we're looking at non-penalty expected goal involvement per 90 against the defensive fixture difficulty rating multiplied by the team's defensive strength. The Everton lads at the top with O'Brien the most attacking of their starting defenders. The Man City defenders below them with Gvardiol out in front. Then it's the Liverpool and Forest defenders with Trent and Tsimikas the most attacking, and Nico Williams and Milenkovic putting up very similar attacking data. Below them we see Robinson out in front, then De Ligt for Man United, Munoz for Palace and Maatsen for Villa. Onto the midfielders, we're looking at non-penalty expected goal involvement per 90 against the attacking fixture difficulty ratings. Buonanotte at the top with Leicester's good fixtures, but he's out injured and he plays for Leicester. Dwight McNeil next to him, again great fixtures but doesn't play for a very attacking team. Below them it's Elanga for Forest. Not the best expected data, but the fixtures are there and we know how good he can be for FPL points. Below him it's Bowen and Mbumo, 2 of the top transfer targets this week in my opinion. Then moving on to the right, we have De Bruyne for City, Son and Pape Sarr for Spurs, although Pape Sarr's data is pretty low if you exclude 2 games where he racked up 3.8 expected goal involvement. Then below him is the Crystal Palace mids with Sarr ahead of Eze, then Adama for Fulham and Rodgers for Villa. Then below them, some quality players with not so good fixtures. We've got Minta, Saka, Dango, Barnes, and then Salah, Jota, Palmer and Luis Diaz at the bottom of this plot here. Onto the forwards, Vardy at the top here, then Beto below him. They've got good fixtures, and so does Chris Wood just below them. Below him on the right side of the plot, it's Wissa with good fixtures and attacking data. He's another great pickup this week. Then Marmoush below him and Solanke next to him. Below the average line, we see Mateta, Muniz, Cunha and Watkins all putting up pretty good expected data. On to captaincy. In my top spot, it's Mbumo against Man United at home. He's in great form, as I said, 4 goals and 3 assists in 9 games. Man United rank 15th for expected goals conceded over the past 10 games in the Prem. I think it's a great matchup for Mbumo to do some damage. Then in second, I have Marmoush against Wolves. Wolves have been on a great run of form, but their fixtures have been really easy. Their last 7 games have been Leicester, Man United, Spurs, Ipswich, West Ham, Southampton and Everton, who are the 7 teams currently at the bottom of the table. So this narrative that Wolves are a tough team to beat, it's not really resonating with me massively. I think City will beat them, and I think Marmoush will finally come good. He's in second, followed by Salah in third. It feels strange putting him so low down, but he's not in the best of form, and Liverpool might subconsciously be taking the foot off the gas after winning the league. Also, Chelsea actually rank 4th for expected goals conceded over the past 10 games, so they've been a strong defence recently, and that's my justification for putting Salah in 3rd. Then in 4th, I've Bowen against Spurs at home. He's in good form, 2 goals, 2 assists in the past 4 games. Spurs defence is shaky at best, and this game is sandwiched between their most important games of the season, the Europa League semi-final fixtures against Bodo Glimt. We already saw Spurs put out a makeshift backline against Liverpool last week to save their starters for the Europa League fixture, so I think Bowen will have a good look at this Spurs defence. And finally, in 5th, I have Isak. I couldn't leave him off this list, he's just so consistent. I heard people say he's not been in the best of form recently, but he's got 2 goals in 3 games, so that just shows you what we expect from this guy. He finishes off the captaincy list. On to my Game Week 34 review, 70 points all out on my free hit, a red arrow down to 237k. This season just keeps on beating me up. I played the free hit and it went relatively well, but I tried to be different to everyone else with a few picks, and those picks did not work out. Most notably, I went with Raul and Welbeck instead of Cunha, and I went with Jota instead of Semenyo, who was in my early free hit drafts, but still a decent week overall. Let's take a look at how I'm lining up for Game Week 35. Looking at this team, I think the obvious issues are Rashford being out the rest of the season, Marino being a rotation risk with Champions League being Arsenal's priority, and then Konate might be rotated with Liverpool having won the league already and their fixtures aren't amazing either. So my current plan is Rashford and Konate to Bowen and O'Brien for my first -4 hit of the season. I really like Bowen's fixtures, and O'Brien's fixtures are great too from a defensive perspective, but the other option is to go Rashford and Konate to Mbumo and Mykolenko. It's really a question of Bowen versus Mbumo, but because Mbumo is so highly owned and he will be heavily transferred in this game week, I'm going to shake things up and try to gain rank with Bowen as a differential, so that's what I'm most likely to do, but nothing is set in stone. So if you want to see what I end up going for, then tune into my deadline stream 1 hour before the deadline today at 5:30 p.m. UK time. So that's all for today, folks. Go ahead and drop a like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and rate 5 stars on audio if you're listening on Spotify or Apple. We're aiming for 5,000 subscribers by the end of the season, so join the community if you haven't already. Until next time, guys, have a good one.